Alright, on to wicking. What we're going to start with is Bastus wick. It's ceramic fibers tied up into string. And it's good because it absorbs moisture into its center. And as it heats up, instead of sporadically drying out, it actually pulls moisture to the center of it, which makes it perfect for vaporizing wax in an RDA. It's by far the best one I've ever tried, and I've tried everything, cotton, non-cotton things. This is the best non-cotton thing, vapes. Now I'll have to do a separate video on how exactly I build my mod for nicotine and wax, and also for wax, but I can tell you that right now I'm using 24 gauge wire, and I'm not going to give away my secret in this video, but I will show you a really neat trick on how to get the Bastus wick properly through your springs in your box mod. And believe me, I've spent a number of hours on this topic, and just trust me on this, you're going to get about a 4-inch piece of 24 gauge. You're going to make a little fishing hook out of it, and you're going to get this stringy like material, which is very hard to handle actually. You're going to want to actually keep it pretty taut upon itself. You don't want the string frays to go everywhere. You're going to want it to stay in one piece as much as possible. You're going to make sure that you've got it on there. It's your fish on a hook. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your little hook string device is narrower than the spring you have to go through. And if it is, it should go right through, and you should pull it. And it's really important to get a relatively taut but loose fit on this thing. You don't want it to be so tight as it doesn't allow any airflow. You're gonna want, you're ultimately gonna want the wax to melt freely onto this, and also have enough room to heat up and vaporize. Because if it becomes too tight in this rayon wick, you're going to get a lot of residue buildup really quick, because you're going to have no exhaust. Think of it as an exhaust. You're going to get a lot of airflow, but you need a lot of exhaust. And it's also going to taste better. For the other side, I wick up with cotton because I can mix whatever flavors I like with the wax, and it turns out good. So we're just going to tear off this cotton. I like to create a point at the tip, and maybe a little bit once, so you're dealing with an actual tip, and you're going to guide that through your other spring on there. I recommend using pliers to pull that through delicately, and I like to use my fingers the rest of the way because I like to feel it out. You're gonna want to make sure there's a good amount of cotton in between the springs, and it's even. And you're gonna want to make sure it's even with the other side, because you don't want uneven cotton distribution. You're gonna get weird burning. I don't like to use too much cotton. I like to use just about enough. I think it's because I build my springs pretty large. I've seen guys build it. I'm pretty noob when it comes to length, but much smaller. I build the springs pretty large because it allows saturation for the wax, and it gives me very good flavor as far as nicotine goes, and it gives me amazing flavor as far as wax goes. It gives me giant clouds because I'm just heating up larger space, and I use pretty thick strings, and I've got a pretty strong box. So all this adds up to excellent flavor. It can be entirely wax if I wanted it to, but I like to spice it up. I'll make further videos on how to make completely wax builds with maybe a dual rayon build, dual vertical rayon build. I've tried that. That one's awesome. But for right now, this is I like to call it my vapor spliff build, and it works. For those of you who want to get off smoking spliffs, and maybe are already into vaping, didn't know you could do this with wax, just get your cotton in there, just like normal. Make sure there's a little air hole where the spring is, just a little bit underneath so you get that airflow. It gives you a lot more clouds. Vapes. And with the rayon, it's pretty important to loosely pack it in there. You might want to cut any excess if there is any, but make sure you cut all of it off. Now what we're going to do is saturate everything with, whatever you want. Right now I'm mixing my green tea flavor onto my cotton wick. And I mix a little bit onto my rayon wick because it's all glycerin and THC is glycerin soluble. Vapes. This is my CBD tincture. It is non-glycerin extracted. It's like caramel. It's got a CBD kick to it. I like to saturate my THC wick with that. And now let's give it a try. Vapes. So I set my mod box to pull 3.4 volts. It's at 29 ohms right now. And my box also tells me that at that rating, it basically heats the coil immediately to 415 degrees. And what you get is the absolute perfect hit for nicotine and THC. This is Mattan signing out. If you have any questions, please comment below. Post them in my inbox. I will try and answer them. I've tried out tons of things. I'm here to help. Thanks for watching, everybody. Fuck vapes.
For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to earth.